What's up, everyone? I guess last week when I put up that video, I didn't realize I dropped the ball that I got engaged. And the week prior is when I actually asked my girlfriend, now fiance, to marry me. And I didn't even realize that I said it on the video because I wanted to let the kids know first before we let anybody else know. But a few people have asked me, even in the past, when to introduce the kids to a significant other. And I guess there's no right or wrong answer to this. But when I first got divorced, it was about 10, 11 years ago now. I was 10 and a half. My kids were 4 and 7 at the time. And after my divorce, I was dating people on and off, but I never really introduced them to anyone until I was actually serious about someone. I didn't want to get them confused, and I also didn't want them to see a revolving door of me just dating people, because I knew some relationships just weren't going to last, and I knew some girls were just for fun, and I know I was just fun for them, and it was good and bad. I mean, we all have our things, but when they finally met two people that I was serious about, one was years ago, and the other was the one that I'm actually engaged to now. But the thing was, like, I've known her for 33 years, and she's always been around sporting events, high school events. We went to high school together. My kids and her kids were in high school together. And there's times where sports would come up and she would always pop up. So when we started dating, I talked to the boys about what I was thinking about doing and how things were going to go. And as things progressed, we decided to move in together. But again, I wanted to see how the kids would feel about it. And I said, listen, I mean, you guys have seen Heather around a lot and you know her kids. How would you feel about it if she moved in? Thing is, I have my kids half the week. So they're here a few days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, every other Wednesday. I got 50% custody. Her kids are here 100% of the time. So I know it was going to be more of an adjustment for me as it was for them. And after about a year, we had our ups and downs, just living with two adult kids because her kids are older also. I mean, one's going to be 21, the other one's going to be 18. My oldest is just turned 18 and my youngest is going to be 15 in a few months. And she actually has another daughter who's going to be 22. She's not living with us, but it was a huge adjustment. And that's a whole nother video about blending families. But over in the summer is when I realized I knew what this relationship was. And just to go back a little bit, when I first got divorced, I never in my life wanted to get married again. Never at all. Because when I first got divorced, it just felt like a business that went wrong. This is what you came in with. This is what value you added. This is the value that she added. And this is how we're dividing everything up. And when the judge finally said, your marriage is now dissolved, basically like, fuck you. Don't tell me my marriage is dissolved. I knew it was over before you even said that phrase. Like, how dare you tell me my marriage is over because you said it was over, not because I thought it was over. So that kind of really pissed me off. And it just felt like marriage was just a business. And a buddy of mine was like, no, your mind's going to change. Trust me. You'll see what's going to happen and things will eventually progress and you'll find somebody. Just trust me. Well, he was right. So the thing was, when I realized what we had, I always knew where I was going to ask her. And I actually asked her in front of her locker where we met, God, it was 33 years ago. I was 13 when I met her. It was 1988. And for some reason, I still actually remember that. But I asked the kids over the summer, how would they feel? And my youngest was like, well, what would change? I'm like, basically nothing, just my taxes. And my oldest said, I get it, but it's just not mom. And I kind of understood what he was saying. It's not his mother. Told him she's not going to be your mother, and I don't plan on you calling her mom. So nothing for you guys will change. It's just going to be a title for me. This summer, about 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, actually, when I was talking to my son about the colleges and stuff, I asked him again at dinner, how would you guys feel if I actually got married again? And same conversation. My youngest said, no big deal. My oldest, little son of a bitch, he's like, what happens to the house? He's like, is it still your name? Because I know you wanted to leave it to us. God forbid something happened. Jesus Christ. That's what's on your mind. Yes, the house is still in my name. The deed's in my name. All of that other stuff we're going to work out. But let's not worry about the house because I don't even know how much longer we'll be in this house. And I don't plan on moving just because we're getting married. I plan on moving just because the kids are going to be out of the house soon. Between colleges, graduating high school, who knows what they're going to do in the next couple of years. But when I finally asked her, of course she said yes, and everything went great. Had the conversation with the kids again, and they were actually, my youngest said, okay, I understand. I'm happy for you. My oldest, he actually was happy. He said, congratulations. He's like, I get why you're doing it. And the whole point of me getting married again is I want to show the kids, regardless of age, it can happen. Regardless of what happens, it can happen again. And what I did was I did actually apologize to my oldest. I said, listen, and my youngest too. I said, I'm sorry that I could not give you guys the traditional family that you had. I'm sorry it didn't work out with me and mom. I know where I went fault. I'm sure mom knows where she went fault as well. And I don't place blame on anyone because it takes more than one person for things to work out or for things to fall apart. But I want you to know that I know I altered your lives in the last 11 years in different ways. I know that the divorce was hard, but I also know if we stay together, you have to remember what's better off. Me and your mom arguing a lot and you guys saying that, or me having and her having an amicable relationship and us being happy while we're apart, which they really do get, because I think you really do need to be honest with your kids about what you're feeling and what you're going through so they understand that things work out for the best. And her girls are very excited, and I think her son is like my kids. It's his mom, and boys, I guess, feel differently about the moms moving on more than anybody else. But I guess even with my kids, because it's not their mom, I don't know what's going on in her head. They just try to think about it and try to talk to them as much as I can and be honest and open. But the whole point is just be open and honest. Don't always introduce your kids to every single person that you meet because you don't know what will or won't happen. I have friends that they start dating somebody within a week and they meet the new girlfriend or they meet the new boyfriend. And some of the things I hear from those kids is, here goes another one that mom or dad's dating. Here goes another that mom or dad's dating, just because they see a revolving door. And it's one thing I did not want my kids to see, a revolving door. I mean, seriously, look, if you go out in society and look what's going on with the family structure, it just seems like it's falling apart. And I wanted to bring that back to my kids. And I thought it was important for them to see that a man and a woman do have a great relationship together and they do provide for one another. And the thing that we have, I wanted to actually add upon that, if that makes any kind of sense. I didn't want to just be a girlfriend or boyfriend situation. I didn't want it just to be that we were living together. And for her to actually be my wife was really important. And for me to be a husband again was really important. Again, and this is something I never in my life thought I would actually ever do. But it was something I felt like I knew I wanted to do it. And I want my kids to share that with me, just to see that regardless of what happens in the past, and as adamant I was about never getting married again, that your opinions do change and so do your thought processes. And just to be open with my kids about who I'm dating, why I'm dating them, and what's important in life was really something that I'm glad I shared with them. But that's it for today. Not sure what's going to come up next. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you soon.